Okay, so now that we have brainstormed our characters on our storyboard paper, we're going to go ahead and start to draw them on our watercolor paper. I brought you some watercolor paper, and it is like a heavier feeling paper. It has little bumps that you can feel if you touch it. It does really good for watercolor. And it's kind of an expensive paper, so I brought you only one piece per student. It's special paper, and you need to make sure that you're taking good care of it. So one of the first things that we need to be aware of is that we're going to be drawing feather light with pencil to start with, okay? Because drawing feather light allows us to erase if we need to, okay? So that is the first thing that you need to be aware of. The second thing you need to be aware of is the placement of your superhero on your piece of paper. So we have this whole sheet of paper, and we want to use, and it's hard to get the whole thing in the camera, but there you go. We want to use as much of this piece of paper as we can, and we want our character to be proportional. So, for instance, when we look at this figure right here, the head in relation to the rest of the body is quite a bit smaller. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. We want our character to fill up our page, and we probably want the head to be about there. Okay, you don't want it to be at the very, very top, and you don't want it to be in the middle. You want it up towards the top, so that one, you have room for the hair and or hat or whatever else is going on with your character, and you want it to make sure that you have enough room for the body too. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting my head up here, and when you choose the shape of your head, make sure that you choose something that goes well with the superpowers that you've got. So if your character needs to have a head that's a triangle, go ahead and draw that. You can also get some ideas in your drawing guide. There are several different ideas of ways that you can, shapes that you can do and everything. My character is called the Blue Brain. She's my superhero character. So I'm going to make sure that her hair is going to be big, and it's going to be pink like a brain, you know. So that was what I was thinking with my character. The next thing you're going to do is the body. And for my character, I choose to make her body more like a peanut. And you can kind of see that in your drawing guide there. And the way that I make my peanut is I draw two sort of ovals, and then I kind of outline them to make a peanut shape. And then I've got arms and legs I need to add, but when I do that, I need to take into consideration how she's standing and how she's holding her arms and that sort of thing. And I want you to think about those things too. Are your character's arms going to be up or down? Is your character going to be flying? Is your character going to be running or kicking? what is your character going to be doing? And you'll need to express that when you draw your character. Okay, so let's see. My superhero character is going to put her foot on a rock here. And remember, like we did with our gesture drawings, we just need to kind of get an idea to start with, and then we'll fill in more details later, right? And she's going to have one hand on her hip, and then one hand up there. Okay? Now I'm going to add some more meat on the bones for my superhero. And you can start wherever you need to. I like to put little circles where my arms attach, like the joints. And like where the knees are. And the legs. Again, we're working feather light, right? Okay, so that's my basic blocking that I've got going on for my character. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add details. So, does she have a cape? Does she not? Those are important things, and you can refer back to your storyboard to give you ideas about that. And my character, she definitely has a cape. And I like to draw it so you can kind of see it. It's going to flow behind her, but I wanted to get the basic shape so that I can see it there. And then I will fill in more around this. She has gloves that she wears, and okay. And she has like a utility belt that she uses, and these fantastic boots that she wears. And on the very front of her costume is going to be the letter B, because she is the blue brain. Right? In continue to fill in your various details that you need, right? And remember I said that I was going to make her hair kind of like a big brain. So that's what I'm making right here. Right? And my character, my superhero, is going to be posed on Mars. Okay? Because that's part of her backstory. She was abducted one night and taken to Mars, and they did experiments on her, and as a result, she became a superhero. And maybe your superhero has an interesting background that will give you a good place to put your character for your picture, right? So she's on Mars, so I drew, that's the horizon, and here you can see Earth in the background, right? When I go to paint that, I'll make it blue and green color, right? Okay, so there's that. And then maybe you can see some stars, right, in the background. And then, you know, of course, Mars is kind of a rocky surface. And one of the other things that I always like to add to my drawing are some of the other details. And for this story here, I have a little alien guy that I like to put in there. He's poking up through a little hole. I don't know what you would call that. Okay, so there is my picture with my details. And it's not perfect, and you can see all of my building lines, and that's how it should be at this point. But I've done them light enough that I can then erase them later, and we'll still have a nice picture. Okay, so go ahead and work on yours. You should get a few minutes to do that, even after this video is turned off. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.